Good morning. It's Friday, November 20th, and this is a rant that I'm not really happy about. In less than 10 months, the virus has killed more than 250,000 people in the United States. That's more than strokes, suicides, car crashes, and some other minor injury type things do in a full year. Combined, medical staff are overwhelmed because of the record hospitalizations. And they can't get the supplies that they need. And they can't get the protection that they need. And the governors are issuing restrictions on gatherings. And the people in their states are unhappy. They're unhappy that their lives are being restricted. They want their children to continue in school. Now, this is not everybody, but there's enough of them to cause a serious problem. You know, in New Jersey alone, the percentages went from 2 and 3% to 11%, and they're dying like flies. And people are still fighting for their rights. Something is terribly wrong with this situation. And one of the things that's wrong, and I hate to keep saying this, is that our leadership doesn't give a shit. The president has disappeared from the face of the earth. The only time he goes outside is with his golf clubs. It's a terrible situation. In the Texas city of El Paso, inmates in prison are being paid $2 an hour to help the medical examiner's office move bodies of the corona victims. And not the cemetery. They're not moving these bodies to cemeteries. They're moving these bodies to refrigerated trucks. They're stashing them until they have time to bury them. The New York City school system, the largest system in the country, has shut down. They're going to total virtual learning. Now, I don't think virtual learning is such a terrible thing. But what's terrible about it is that not everybody has the equipment and the facility to learn virtually. Not every kid has a laptop or a cell phone or a computer so that they can learn virtually. I don't know how they plan to go to virtual. Where are these kids without the necessary internet equipment going to spend their time virtually? I haven't heard anything about how that's going to work. Richard Carranza, the New York City school chancellor, wrote a letter informing the parents and the students that the schools were closing on the 19th, yesterday. In that letter, he also said that students or parents can stop by any school building and pick up lunch for their children. So they're not totally abandoning these kids. But they recognize the fact that with over 1 million students to take care of, this is not an easy task to go to remote learning. But the risk of keeping 1 million students in school without the proper protection is a risk they can't afford to take. So while I know that many out there believe that the socialization of children in school is very, very important, well, it's more important to keep them alive. That's my opinion. And kids are flexible. They can survive this thing. They will look back on it and say, boy, did we live through a terrible time. But it can't drag on for much, much longer. And so we hope that those vaccines will get distributed quickly. Every day I hear about a new vaccine coming on the market. So right now we have 2 for sure, a third that's almost there, a couple of different testing capabilities that have been announced. So I think we have to live through this tough winter. And if remote learning is just through the winter and everybody will stay alive, that will be wonderful. What would even be more wonderful would be leadership from our government. But I think by the time we get to leadership in the government, we'll be well into January. I recognize the fact that Thanksgiving is a week away. And Thanksgiving is one of the holidays that everybody looks forward to. There are no real restrictions that go along with Thanksgiving. It's a time to get together and enjoy your friends and your family. And it's a terrible thing that we have to give up our Thanksgiving this year, or celebrate remotely with a Zoom or a Skype. But that's the way it is. Missing one Thanksgiving is going to save many, many lives. And the people who bitch because they put a restriction on the amount of people that you should gather in. And I don't blame the people bitching too much, but recognize the fact that you have to do it. It's not only for your individual safety. It's not for the safety of your family necessarily either. It's for the safety of everybody around you. How many stories have we heard where one or two people have infected 30 or 40 people because they went to a wedding or a funeral or some other event? It's time we recognize how deadly this virus is. It's time that we really go to war. It's time for us to be heroes, not victims. It's time to step up and fight the virus. And the fight means wearing a mask, social distancing, and not bitching about your rights. Your rights and your obligation are to the rest of the people in this country. We didn't win World War II by ignoring the sacrifices that we had to make. And this sacrifice that we're making right now is nothing compared to those men who landed on the beaches of Normandy. So I say, get your head out of your ass and wear your mask and don't bitch so much about your right. We need a concerted effort to save lives. And I will leave you with that thought this morning because I'm tired of ranting about the virus. And I'm also tired of COVID fatigue, but I'm prepared to live through it properly. So have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye.